Apple always launches several new models. Usually this is the flagship, the most top-end device of the brand, and its stripped-down version. A few years ago, the company decided to launch a line of youth devices in a plastic case with different colors from the so-called budget series. Against the background of other models of the brand, the 5C line could indeed seem to be budget, but if we compare these phones with other manufacturers, then we are not talking about any budget prices. It is logical that the model did not find its buyer, and Apple buried it without noise. Today the brand decides to repeat the story. A budget model appeared on the market with a name that was kept secret until the last moment. As a result, the market recognizes it as XR, but there were several options, among which the most popular and logical seemed XC. Some facts: in 2018, the company decides to repeat the unsuccessful experiment with the budget line and launches a new series of iPhone XR. What can be seen here is a budget screen, a single camera, a large number of colors, cheap body materials. In this case, the price of the model will be 65,000 rubles, which is not cheap at all. After all, the main competitor Samsung S9 has an official cost of 60,000, despite the fact that it can quite compete with the older models, XS and XS Max. This text will compare iPhone XR vs iPhone X, since the latter is exactly the same, and one wonders whether to buy X in a normal, for Apple, package, which is no different to XS, or give the same money for less quality option on the materials. Smartphones: the start of sales of new XS devices is September 28. The novelty with the XR mark will appear on the market later, only on October 26, and already on October 19 it can be issued on pre-order. Until the last moment, the name of the budget iPhone was kept secret, and even at the presentation it was named iPhone 2018. The company created intrigue in order to create artificial interest in the device, since it's obvious that the buyer's main attention will be focused on XS and its older version. Specifications: the most logical way is to start a comparison of models with characteristics, since the feeling is always more important than the appearance, although it is judged primarily by design. Applications on the smartphone: from the comparison it is clear that the Apple iPhone XR received only the processor from the new devices. The amount of memory is similar to the old devices, the camera is single, like the iPhone 8, new colors have been added. Perhaps this is the only Plus model. Interesting fact: in the Chinese market were released iPhone XS and XS Max with support for 2 SIM. XR even for China comes in the version with only 1 SIM. If we talk about the configuration, the XR, like the XS, does not have a headphone adapter included. Comparing the device with the iPhone X, we get a bundle poorer. Although this adapter costs 700 rubles in retail, it is a trifle, but pleasant. Design: if we compare the iPhone X vs iPhone XR design, the first has a number of advantages, which are primarily associated with the performance materials. The anniversary apparatus uses a new protective glass in a metal case. The new model is seriously suffering due to the fact that the side face is made of aluminum. In other devices of the brand, surgical steel is taken as the basis for the frame. It shines beautifully, dampens blows and is not scratched so much. Aluminum is a soft metal that does not have the quality of surgical steel. At the exit, it turns out that the device will scratch harder. Why use aluminum instead of steel? To save. And, looking ahead, it should be noted that in the XR saved literally everything. Design: if we compare the iPhone X vs iPhone XR design, the first has a number of advantages, which are primarily associated with the performance materials. The anniversary apparatus uses a new protective glass in a metal case. The new model is seriously suffering due to the fact that the side face is made of aluminum. In other devices of the brand, surgical steel is taken as the basis for the frame. It shines beautifully, dampens blows and is not scratched so much. Aluminum is a soft metal that does not have the quality of surgical steel. At the exit, it turns out that the device will scratch harder. Why use aluminum instead of steel? To save. And, Looking ahead, it should be noted that in the XR saved literally everything. Smartphone design, important. The unpleasant fact, but if you break the glass, it will just get enough sleep with small fragments, because even a special film layer that prevents this is not provided by Apple. Otherwise, the appearance has not changed much. All the same display without frames, monobrow with sensors and a camera for selfie and face recognition. At the bottom of the speakers and power connection. Side faces got control buttons and a slot for SIM. The rear panel contains a single camera and flash. The camera, by the way, is from the 8th iPhone, but with the addition of chips that are used in the XS. The number of colors of the new model is 6, but the old device X had only 2 of them. Having a choice is a pleasant moment. Visually, the phone looks no worse than the old device, but according to the materials it is inferior. Another disadvantage of the XR is that it received IP67 moisture protection. The XS protection standard is IP68, and the X standard is IP67. For the fact that the anniversary phone has a better case, it gets 1 point. In the piggy bank, XR sent 0.5 points for bright colors. The leaders are still X score, 1 to 0.5. Display a very important and interesting point of comparison of models, which will help to figure out what is better, iPhone XR or iPhone X. Display. The Jubilee apparatus was based on the OLED matrix from Samsung, which is generally considered to be the best, but was incorrectly tuned by Apple employees. The screen turned out to be quite good, but could not stand comparison with direct competitors. However, this is an OLED matrix with a good resolution of 2436*1125. Display. Apple iPhone XR company puts IPS matrix, which in itself is worse in quality than OLED. This is the first minus. The second point, with a large screen size, and it is 6.1 inches versus 5.8 inches for Apple X, the matrix gets a lower resolution of 1792*828, it does not even reach FHD. It is worth noting that there is not a single eminent manufacturer that would put in its average or expensive device a matrix with a resolution less than FHD. On a note, the XR has a pixel density of 326 ppi, and this parameter was, hard to believe, on the iPhone 4. Thus, the company returns the phone user for 65,000 rubles many years ago. The next point is that XR does not support 3D touch. It is worth noting that, in principle, they want to give up technology, but in XS it is still there. Many Apple owners are accustomed to this chip and, most likely, will react to its absence in the XR negatively. If we ignore the numbers and technology, the XR screen is a clear failure. It is seriously inferior to all competitors, and not even the best display X. Here the point goes again to the anniversary model. Score, 2 to 0.5. 3D touch, performance. The Apple iPhone X uses an older generation Apple A11 processor, while the new one gets the new A12 Bionic chipset. There is a clear superiority of the novelty, since at the moment the processor is considered the best on the market, and in addition, the only 7nm created by the technical process. A11 is made according to the old standards, 10nm. XR has a chipset with 6 cores, which are divided into 2 and 4 at work. The first are energy efficient, which makes it possible to save on battery consumption. The remaining 4 are responsible for performance. Performance, the new device, among other things, has smarter cores, since new neural connections are used here, that is, the model is self-learning, which affects everything, from the speed of opening programs to unlocking the screen and processing photos. By this criterion, XR is clearly winning. In general, the performance of the new chip is 70% better than the iPhone X. This is where performance differences end. The operating memory of both devices is the same, 3 GB. A similar situation with the drive. If XS received a new memory capacity of 512 GB, then in the younger device of a new series this is not the case. True, XR exists in a version of 128 GB, and X is represented only with 64 or 256 GB of memory. The score becomes 2 to 1.5. The advantage of the model in 2017. Battery. In terms of battery capacity, the new device has an advantage again. It has a capacity of 2,942 mAh versus 2,700 mAh. An insignificant difference does not give a significant increase, and, interestingly, in the company itself a comparison is made with the 8 Plus model. This is explained by the fact that the XR does not differ from the X. A more energy-efficient processor does not give an advantage because of the more power-intensive screen. It's no secret that IPS matrices have always consumed more energy than OLED. Thus, there is no clear leader in this matter. Yellow and red iPhone important. The new model, like the older brothers, provides quick charging, for 30 minutes 50% of capacity. But to take advantage of this opportunity, you will have to pay 5.5 thousand for a set of necessary accessories. In fairness, it should be noted that a set of accessories for X will cost the same price. It is impossible to single out a leader by the criterion of autonomy, therefore the score remains unchanged. Camera. If we talk about the camera, then the situation is as follows. In numbers, it repeats the parameters of the iPhone 8, but has a number of improvements. A similar situation is observed in XS. There the camera costs from X, but there are new modes. The iPhone X uses a dual 12MP rear camera. One of them is a telephoto lens, the second is a wide-angle one. The new iPhone XR camera has only one lens. The old Matrix was scolded a lot for the fact that it did not allow us to make good photos in the dark, and, in general, lost to the cameras of competitors. The new device has increased the pixel size. Due to this, the lens can collect more information. The new processor handles it more accurately, adds detail and eliminates noise. Pictures on the new Matrix are more beautiful. Plus, the device appeared Smart HDR mode, as well as the depth. The first makes the usual HDR a little better, and the second allows for portraits to adjust the depth of field after receiving the picture. On a note, another difference is the ability to record sound in stereo. Due to more powerful speakers, and they are 50% louder than in X, watching videos and listening to videos shot on the phone is much more pleasant. It could have happened if it were not for the XR screen. By the way, at XS everything went according to plan, and great videos look beautiful on the display. The Matrix for selfie takes the same in both models, but again, for the new product there is a depth mode, which is quite important in portrait shots. Otherwise, there are no significant differences in the photo on the front camera. The camera leader is the iPhone XR, despite the fact that there is no double lens here, as is fashionable in 2018. For the stinginess of the company, the device receives not 1 point, but half, and this compares the score between the models. He becomes 2 to 2 and is the final. Conclusion: the price of the new model is $1,000. Exactly the same money costs Apple iPhone X. At the exit, it turns out that the devices in general do not have advantages over each other, more precisely, they differ in some criteria. The advantages of the iPhone X include the quality of materials, and this is essential, because repairing Apple is not cheap at all. In addition, this unit is more like the XS. If you put a wallpaper on it from the novelty, then the difference will not be visible at all. In turn, XR has a better camera, rather in function than in photo quality, and also works faster overall. The latter fact has a double meaning. On the one hand, this is good, but on the other hand, Apple owners often do not notice this. It is no secret that the Apple brand is positioned as a status technique, and for games and productivity, everyone takes Korean and Chinese smartphones on Android, where there are more opportunities and applications. Thus, the iPhone X looks more impressive and necessary to the user than the XR model. The release date of the new multicolored device is October 26, so buyers have time to think, buy an iPhone XR, or stop at X, which will soon be released from official sales. In addition, it is worthwhile to consider the option of additional payment, even if it is a serious amount, about $300, for the new XS, because in this case, the buyer receives a really excellent machine.